On this lesson, we're going to continue with area formulas. Our objectives: understand what the area formula for a triangle is, understand what the area formula for a trapezoid is, and understand what the area formula for a kite is. You may know one or two or maybe all three of these formulas, but my job is to explain why these formulas work. So even if you know them, you need to go through the process of understanding why they are what they are. The vocabulary, again: area, base, and height. What I've got here is a triangle with the base and the height referenced here. What I've then done is I've taken the image of the triangle and turned it over and attached it here. And what this does is it creates a parallelogram. We know that the area of a parallelogram is the base times the height. So since the triangle is half of a parallelogram, the formula for a triangle would be 1/2 times the base times the height. This is sometimes written as base times height divided by 2. Alright, triangle is pretty simple. Now we're going to get into a little bit more complicated ones. Okay, the next one we have is a trapezoid here. So, for reference, what I've done again is I've taken the trapezoid and copied an image of it to it, and what this does is it creates a parallelogram because we've got parallel sides on the top and the bottom. What we have is we actually have two bases, and so this parallelogram, instead of base times height, what we have is we have the area equals, instead of base, our base is consistent with two bases. So it's base 1 plus base 2, and we need to add those first. So I'm going to put them in parentheses and then multiplied by the height. So this parallelogram is base 1 plus base 2 and then times height. But it took two of them to create this parallelogram, so we have to cut it in half for our trapezoid formula. So our trapezoid formula is this right here divided by 2. So we've got base 1 plus base 2 times h over 2. This can actually be figured out two other ways. The first other way would be, instead of dividing by 2, you can multiply by a half in front. Okay, and the last way is the understanding that 1/2 times the base, the two bases, is averaging the two bases. Well, the average of the two bases is actually the mid-segment. So I learned it, mid-segment, I call that MS, times height. So the mid-segment times the height. So if you have base 1 and base 2, add them together, divide that by 2, you get the mid-segment. The mid-segment times the height will give you the formula for the trapezoid. Alright, the last example is our kite. Alright, so here I have a kite. And what I've done with this kite is I have actually taken half the kite, that part right there, and I have turned it and made it right here. And what that does is it creates a parallelogram there. This parallelogram is the base times the height again. So we need to put in what it is. Well, AB here is diagonal 1, so that's our base. So we're going to go with diagonal 1. So this right here, AB, is D1. That's our base. And our height is actually this DM or CM. Well, CD was the full diagonal, so it's actually half. It's half of D2. So times 1/2 D2, and that makes our parallelogram. This one uses the whole kite to make the parallelogram. We didn't have to add anything to it. So this is actually our formula. So we're just going to rearrange this. I like to have the number in front, so because it's all multiplication, we can rearrange it. This is 1/2 times D1 times D2. So basically half of the two diagonals multiplied together. A lot of people also like it as D1 times D2 divided by 2. Alright, this video has been looking at the formulas for triangles, trapezoids, and kites, their area. If there's any part of it that you missed or you didn't understand, make sure you pause, rewind, and rewatch, and bring your questions to class. Thank you.